Hi, I'm Dorothy McDermott. I am a licensed professional counselor and a licensed professional counselor supervisor in Alabama. I'm licensed in Alabama and Georgia. I see clients of all ages, all populations, with various issues that they're dealing with.
So you've been a licensed counselor for a long time, but you own your own business, a Fresh Start Counseling service. How long have you been in business, and what made you start? And how did you introduce yourself to the world?
Okay. So yes, I've been a counselor. I've worked in the mental health field for about 18 years. I've been licensed a little less than that because it does take so long to get licensed as a counselor. But initially, I worked with some agencies, and then I decided to go work at a group practice, which is a private practice. I chose to do that because you get to make your own schedule, and with my kids, it's just more beneficial to my family if I can make my own schedule. At that practice, it was stipulated that we had to have our own business. We were to be independent contractors, and so that's actually how Fresh Start Counseling got started. And then I did that for a couple years, and some counselor friends of mine encouraged me to open my own practice. I was a little scared, a little hesitant at first. It was the one thing that I was afraid of doing because I was afraid I would fail. So they talked me into it. I talked to my husband, we prayed about it, and here we are. So in about 2018, I opened a Fresh Start Counseling. And initially, when I was marketing the business, I did not put my face on anything. I chose to just use the logo in all marketing. Being a female, brown-skinned woman in Alabama, I was a little hesitant to put my face out there. Whether it was valid or not, it's just how I felt. And so I just had the butterfly logo, marketed, and got some friends to send me referrals if they could. And that was that. After about, I would say a year, I decided to put my face on one of the ads that I had on Facebook or a post or something. And I noticed that it didn't change anything. One, clients kept coming. I started getting clients and would ask, well, how did you hear about a Fresh Start? Just to check and see how my marketing was going. And they say, well, so-and-so said that you helped them and they said that I should come to you. And so I thought, well, okay, well, they saw me, they know who I am. And it just went from there. And so I've been in business now, I guess since 2018 on my own, and business is good. We grew to another location. That lasted about 2 years. I made a tough decision and closed that, but we still have other counselors here. I love working with younger counselors and assisting them in the strenuous process, the tedious process, but important process of growing and increasing their knowledge in the counseling field.
How do you know, if somebody's really crazy? If somebody says so-and-so is crazy, what is the measurement or the rating that makes somebody crazy or not?
First of all, crazy is not one of my favorite words. I tell my clients often that I don't like the word crazy, but I get the use of the word. As a therapist, we look at it differently. I would say a person may be psychotic. So let's say someone is dealing with depression, but it's just sadness and maybe they're crying often. But then if a person is dealing with depression and suicidal and maybe delusional, then they're psychotic or what people would call crazy. Or if they are anxious and paranoid to the point that they are seeing things that other people don't see, that would be psychotic and or crazy. in common language. But I wouldn't say that anybody is crazy. If I did use the phrase, then I would have to use it for everybody. I would have to say something like, I'm crazy and I go to therapy so that I can manage my crazy. And if you're crazy, then, we just need to learn how to manage our crazy. If we're going to use the word crazy, we can say everybody's crazy.
Right. Because I was wondering that, have you found that every client or like everybody has that level of crazy? Is there anybody that isn't crazy?
Everyone has issues. All of us, especially adults. Every adult, if you've lived long enough, you've dealt with something that could break you. And some kind of way, I would say the grace of God or the assistance of a human being, something helped you to get to where you are and not lose it and be stuck in that lost state. But yeah, we all have issues that we need to learn how to manage in a healthy way. And some of us cope with unhealthy things like, we might drink too much, or we might smoke cigarettes or use a substance to help manage the crazy or manage the issues. But if a person is drinking just to deal with their emotions, then I would consider that unhealthy, because at some point you've got to stop drinking or else you're going to die. So if stopping drinking leads you to a place that you can't deal with life, then you need to learn some healthy coping skills, learn some other ways to deal, and therapy can help with that. So the most common issues that I see people dealing with are anxiety, of course, depression, and just general life-changing issues like going through transitions. So anxiety is basically worrying about what you don't have any control over, especially the future. So the future is just a vast amount of unknowns. All of us have an unknown tomorrow. We don't know what troubles we might see tomorrow. We don't know what joy we might see tomorrow. But when someone's struggling with anxiety, they tend to focus on the worst case scenario and often get wrapped up in irrational thoughts. So I might have a worry that, what if I drive on the interstate and I have an accident? Well, it's possible, but most likely it's not going to happen. And so that's a rational worry because it is possible. But when someone gets so stuck in the worry that now they can't drive, they won't even get in the car, they won't get on the driver's side, that's when it becomes an issue. And so then we need to work on that. And so we will do specific treatments and use specific techniques to assist that person with dealing with those thoughts and get to a place where they can maybe just get in the driver's seat again, or drive from their home to work again. There's so many things that can trigger a person to not be able to do the things that they need to do.
What are some ways that therapy can help with death and people losing people that died too early, important people that died in terrible ways, and they're stuck?
So with grief, it's one of those things that all of us will face. If you live long enough and you love someone, then you're gonna lose someone that you love. And all of us, we're going to have to deal with the hurt that comes with knowing that you won't see the person you love again on this side. And if you lose someone unexpectedly, it can hurt even more. But I would say you can lose someone, you can know that the person is going to die. I had a friend who we knew that the illness that she had was terminal and that she would eventually die from it. And, even then, knowing that she was going to die, it still hurt. It might be less shocking, but it still hurts. And so to process grief, it takes one time, it takes understanding, and it takes the willingness to keep going, because with that type of grief, when you lose someone that you really love, it's going to keep coming up. It's going to come up in a song or just a random thought or memory. You're going to experience that grief again. And so a therapist can help with being the person that just assists you with normalizing the feelings that you're feeling, so that you don't feel like there's something wrong with you for still hurting a year later, or still not wanting to go to the grave, or whatever the case may be. There is no timetable for grief. So if you lose a friend, if you lose a child, you lose a parent or a coworker, you might not get over it in 6 months. You might not get over it in a year. You might not ever get over it. It's not something that you get over. It's something that you learn how to deal with, and you learn how to live with.
So talk to the parents that feel like no matter how hard they try, they feel like a bad parent, and the world is telling them they're a bad parent. Maybe their child is acting out. They have no control. They don't know how to reel it back in. So the child needs therapy, but really they need therapy. How do you handle that?
So I've been working as a therapist in some shape, form, or fashion for about 18 years now, on and off, because I do have 3 kids, and I did take a little bit of time there in the beginning off. But in the early years as a therapist, I worked only with kids. I worked with at-risk kids and their families, because if your child is in therapy, then the parent is in therapy as well. As a therapist, I work to assist the children with learning whatever they need to learn for whatever the issue might be. A lot of times with kids, there's maybe an adjustment disorder, where maybe the family has moved, or maybe the parents have gotten divorced, or there might be something going on at school, or there could be abuse or whatever. There's so many things that can go on with children. But if I'm working with a child, then usually at the end of my session with that child, I'm going to bring the parent in, and I'm going to give a brief overview of the important things that were talked about. I never give a play-by-play because it's confidential, but I'm going to work with the parent and let them know maybe something that they can help the child with that week. Sometimes it is imperative that the parent have their own therapist, and so I might recommend that they see their separate therapist to deal with whatever issues the parent may be having. But in my experience, most of the time, the parent is not a bad parent. If their child is in therapy, especially if the parent brought the child to therapy, I would say they're a good parent. They've seen that there's an issue, or they were made aware of an issue, and they took the steps to help their child get the help that they needed. So most parents that I've encountered in these 18 years or so are not bad parents. I would add too, with moms especially, because we know that usually it's the mom that takes the child to the appointment. Sometimes dads do as well, but most of the time I see the mom. And whether it's the mom of a child client of mine, or it's a client of mine who is a mom, often they struggle with feelings of inadequacy. They feel like they're not good enough, not a good enough parent. With fathers, they often feel like they're not able to provide enough. They're not able to give enough to their children or their family. But again, in my experience, those individuals who feel that they're not good enough, but they're asking me the questions, I would say that they're doing the exact right thing. It's the parents who aren't asking the questions, the parents who aren't trying to problem solve and aren't trying to assist. Those are the ones that concern me the most. So seeking therapy as a parent or as a spouse is not in any way saying that you're not good enough or not able to do the things that you need to do. It's more saying, hey, I recognize that I could do more, or maybe I could do something differently. And it's brave, it's very courageous.
As you deal with clients, does anything make you angry about the way that things have been for them? Is there anything that's happening in society that's creating the issues that you're seeing that makes you angry? Or are we just dealing with the cycles of life and it is going to be what it is?
That's a really good question. There are a few things that frustrate me with life and my clients. I've, in all of these years, I've dealt with hundreds of individuals, but lately, if there were something that was frustrating me, it would be just the effect that our society can have on certain clients. Recently, I've had clients who work in the government, and they were pretty scared about their job status. People who've worked for years, and they were scared and concerned about their job status. So that was a bit frustrating because there's nothing that I can do about that situation. But more commonly, what tends to frustrate me would be when, and this is a simple thing, but it's when clients come in and we're doing the work and they make breakthroughs in session, and then they go home to a house that hasn't changed. They go home to individuals who aren't trying to assist them in the journey. And then they come back the next week and we have to do it all over again. And it could be teenagers going home to a household where the parents aren't trying to do anything different, or married people who go home to a spouse who isn't trying to assist them. That's frustrating to deal with over and over again.
Do you cry during your sessions?
Very rarely. There have been times when I might have shed a tear with a client, which is, I think, a good therapist practice, to be open and honest with your client. I won't bawl. I haven't done that yet. I won't say that I won't, but I've never broken down in a session with a client. But if I have a client and they've been struggling with infertility and they get pregnant and then they come back a few weeks later and they've lost the baby, I'm gonna shed a tear because that hurts. I know it hurts them. I can feel the hurt in the room, and it hurts me too.
What other kind of things hurt?
All kinds of things can hurt. There's a such thing as an empath, and empaths feel feelings deeply. So I can feel the feelings of other people. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And so if I'm in a one-on-one conversation with someone and they're describing trauma from their childhood or abuse or any type of wrong, I can feel their hurt. And yeah, I might shed a tear, or I might adjust my seat. It can be a lot to sit across from someone who is hurting and crying in a session. So.
If everybody in the world expressed to the world the things that people express in therapy, how embarrassing or how profound would it be? And would everybody have a story to tell?
So if everyone in the world expressed their feelings and shared what they were going through,
the deepest thoughts,
if they shared all that on a day-to-day basis, then I think the world might be a little better if we could see that we all go through very similar things. our experiences may be different, but our feelings are the same. Happy, sad, mad, disappointed, discouraged, shocked, confused. We all feel the same feelings, maybe for different reasons, but we felt them. And, my experiences might be different than your experiences, but if you heard my story, you would feel my feelings. You would understand why I feel the way I feel and why I do what I do. And when I'm sitting across from a client and they're telling me their story, and I'm like, goodness, wow, I understand why they feel the way they feel. I understand why they came and sat on my couch. And so if we could all share that, now that won't ever happen because we want anonymity, we want confidentiality. But if we did, we would see it, like in the words of Maya Angelou, like we're more alike than we're not alike. We are, all of us, we're more alike than not alike. Even people that you don't like, you have similarities, probably way more similarities than you think. Right. And it would definitely help us as a society if we could just talk about it.
Can therapy help single people find love?
Can therapy help single people find love? Well, therapy can assist a single person with dealing with the issues that may be keeping them from a healthy relationship. It might not help you find love, but it might help you be open to love and be able to communicate in a healthy way and be able to resolve conflict in a healthy way so that when you are in a relationship that you can manage it in a healthy manner rather than bringing those old ideas and behaviors into the new relationship. So
let's talk about the impact of divorce. Just real quick. Okay. There might be the positive impact, negative impact on divorce. Okay. Is there a magic cure to fixed relationships?
To fix relationships.
Do you see the dissipation of relationships as being like something to be alarmed about, or is this just the nature of the cycle? And like, just dive into relationships, divorce, and how you see it, the impact.
Okay. So when you think of the word divorce, usually that comes up when there is some type of, what do they call it? What is the word? Irreconcilable differences. Yes. So usually they'll say, well, there's irreconcilable differences. Like we just could not come to an agreement. We could not reconcile this. We couldn't resolve the issues. These are problems that won't be solved. Often there's infidelity, and the person who felt that they were cheated on just won't or can't forgive. Or whatever the case may be. Divorce is an issue. It is a thing. Sometimes it is warranted. Now, I don't advocate for divorce. I don't push for divorce. In my own marriage, I say divorce is not an option. However, in some situations, divorce may be the only option. If you're being abused, not just physically, if you're being abused emotionally, or physically or sexually. Even in a marriage, you can be abused sexually. So that, I would say, is grounds for divorce. You don't want to stay in something where you're being hurt repeatedly. But the consequences of divorce could be vast and great. When you have children, those children are going to be affected. Sometimes I've seen where kids, their parents got divorced and they actually were happy that the parents got divorced because there's no more arguing in the house. There's more peace in the home. Now, is there a transition that they need to work through? Yes. But sometimes it can be beneficial. It brings more peace when you don't have two adults fighting all the time and affecting the mood of the house all the time. There can be benefits where, the spouse, one of, the wife or the husband or whomever, is able to grow after that divorce. Maybe they felt bound. Maybe they made a wrong decision when they got married young or without thinking it through. They were just getting married out of lust or The woman got pregnant and they were like, well, we just need to get married. And okay, but maybe they weren't really compatible. And so sometimes the divorce can be, beneficial to the mental health of that spouse. So how do you fix it when people want to get a divorce? I have had some couples that I've worked with where they had drawn up the papers and they were just coming to therapy. They said that they were coming to therapy so that they could just process it and know what to say to their kids, how to communicate so they could still co-parent. And in the process of us doing what I call the Better Together project, so doing the couples therapy, we worked on communication, we worked on conflict resolution, we discussed parenting, and after a few months, they built a bonfire and burned the papers. They stayed together. They had moved out to separate places already, but they made the decision to work through it. Now, is there a cure that is like for everybody that's gonna work, like 100% guarantee? No. But in any relationship, if there is an issue in a marriage, I learned this from someone, they said that it's usually the big three. So the big three would be, there's an issue with communication, there's an issue in their finances, or there's some type of sexual issue. And if there's kids involved, there may be something going on with parenting. Maybe they're not parenting in like a co-parenting type way. They're not listening to each other. They're not on the same page. But communication is the key. If you can't communicate with someone, you're not going to be able to have a healthy relationship. You need to learn how to not just talk to a person in a way that's loving, but learn how to listen to that person and let them know that you hear them. And not just like, oh yeah, I heard you want pizza tonight, but like, I heard that you really like pizza and you'd like to have it once a week. So I'm gonna make an effort to make sure that we have pizza once a week. Not just, oh, I heard you, but how can I make changes so that I show you that I hear you and I love you enough to do something different. So communicate. Finances is just an issue, period, in life as an adult. But in a marriage, especially when you are combining your money and your bills and your debts and all of that stuff, it can be very stressful. And if you can't communicate, now you can't talk about the money in a loving, healthy way. And it's just going to snowball and turn into an avalanche that can bury you in your marriage. So that needs to be addressed in a healthy way and often with a therapist so that you have an unbiased person assisting you with processing what's really going on there. And then sometimes in marriages, there are sexual issues. I've had couples come and one of the questions I ask a couple is, well, how often are you guys having sex? And I've heard people say, oh, like for how long? Like I said, well, once a week, once a month. Some people struggle and they might not have had sex for 6 months or 3 or 4 months. And, and then my next question is, well, is your spouse okay with that? Because it's not for me to tell you what you're supposed to do in your marriage, but to see, are you guys communicating? Are you guys meeting the needs of each other within that marriage? And is there some issue that can be worked on in therapy? Sometimes with sexual issues, it might be some type of physical health issue, so they may need to go see a doctor to work on that. Or it could be a trust issue. There could have been abuse somewhere along the way that maybe the woman was abused and she doesn't feel comfortable. And so that's something that needs to be addressed too. So when those things are worked on, usually it really does help the marriage, and they can make the choice to keep walking through the life that they have designed together. Because marriage is about a choice. You make the choice to, like, usually it's the man who asks. So the man makes a choice to ask this woman to marry him. And then they make the choice to get married, and every single day, every month, every year is a choice. Every time there's an issue, every time, the air conditioning unit needs to be replaced, or you got to spend $3,000, $4,000, $7,000 on something else for the house. It's a choice to continue to do those things together. And so, if you can work on communicating, you're choosing to communicate in a healthy way, you're choosing to manage these finances in a healthy way. You're choosing to not go buy the thing that you want to buy just because you want to buy it, but actually talk about it with your spouse. So it's a day-to-day choice to not just stay married, but stay married and stay in a healthy marriage. And you want it to grow and thrive and, become the best that it can be. So that's all it is. It's just a choice. So in couples therapy, sometimes that issue of sexual health does come up. I'm not a registered sex therapist. There are registered sex therapists who go through additional training specifically for sex therapy. It's kind of like you go to a general practitioner for your regular checkup, but if you have a heart issue, you go to a cardiologist. That's the same thing. Now, I have taken trainings on sex therapy under registered sex therapists. So there are things that I can assist couples with. So we might discuss specific techniques that can be tried in their marriage. We might discuss specific schedules, or I might give a challenge that they engage in a particular activity without having sex, but engage in that activity without intercourse. So that, maybe they increase that intimacy. But beyond what I've been trained to do, I then send them on to a registered sex therapist because I don't want to operate out of my scope.
Tell us how we can get your book. Tell us about the next book and everything going around that project, because I know you did it a while back, but it's still circulating. Let's talk about that.
So, yes, I wrote the book Get Well, A Fresh Perspective on Mental Wellness. Finished it in 2021 and released it in 2021. It is, just my perspective on mental wellness. And with mental wellness, I include physical, spiritual, and the mental. So if your spiritual wellness is off and the physical wellness is off, then the mental wellness is going to be off. We have to tend to them all so that we can be well. Not perfect, not happy all the time, but well. And so within that book, I discuss ways that you can get well, ways that you can stay well, and maintain the wellness throughout your day-to-day. None of us are going to be happy all the time. We have struggles that come up daily, weekly, that we need to deal with. We have stress as adults. We have all kinds of stressors, bills and bills and bills. But in that book, I discuss ways to deal with life and get to a place where you can enrich your life and even transform it. The next book was being written. I've taken a little pause on the writing, but whenever I do get the time or make the time to sit down and finish the book, I do have another book in the works. It is, I won't give the title yet because it may change, but it is a devotional type book. It is more on the spiritual side. It's not all scripture, but it does have a lot of scripture in it, and it's a lot of just my way of expounding on those scriptures and thoughts.